happening, y'all? Welcome back. This is episode 168 of Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow, the number one Arrowverse podcast on Pornhub. I am your host, the self-knighted Sir Cussalott Travis Pointer, aka the Dragon King, aka Big T, aka T Money, aka Sweet T, aka Black Merlin, aka the HNIC. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mara the Shark Watkins.
Hello.
How are you tonight, Mara?
I could sleep, but I'm good. I'm good.
I'm sure we both could sleep right now, but I do need a nap. Moving sucks.
I need like a temporary coma.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like, it's exactly, the right thing to do right now. I think we should just do that instead.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm all for Croatia world led temporary coma.
Yeah. Croatia coma. Yeah.
Once a year event.
Yeah.
All we do is sleep.
New podcast. It only comes out once a year. It's just called Croatia coma. It's literally just us taking a nap.
You get like the found footage, like the green, like night video of all of us just in our rooms, just sleep, just cycling like a CCTV.
Exactly. Like, do we snore? You'll soon find out. Do any of us move in our sleep? You'll soon find out.
Do any of us talk or do weird shit in our sleep?
Yeah, like, randomly take their pants off while sleeping. We'll find out. Did I just name things that I actually do in my sleep that I've been told? Maybe. You got to watch to find out.
But coming soon to a dream near you.
But that's another project for another time. What we're here to talk about is the Arrowverse on the CW. Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman, Stargirl, Superman and Lois, all them. So let's talk about them. We got 3 of them.
And Supergirl's not one of them anymore.
No, she is not. She is gone. Like, bye.
Finished, retired, put out to
pasture.
Yeah, put out to pasture. Thank you. I was trying to think of what farm term I was thinking of.
Yeah. It's okay. I'm with you.
Thank you.
So where do you want to start? You want to start with Flash, Batwoman, Legends?
Let's please get Legends out of the way.
All right. So this week's episode of Legends was called what?
Deuce X Latrina.
Say that again.
Deuce X Latrina.
They're like the Deus es Deus.
Oh.
Yes.
Deus Ex Latrina.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as that lady who apparently can't say fruit. What was she saying?
I don't know, but it wasn't fruit. And it was just like, what is this? What are you? Huh?
Oh, man. That was good.
Anyway, this episode kicks off. We got a young Bishop and early Ava. They're activating the Wave Rider.
She wants to know about his secret project.
Yeah. And it was the Wave Rider. And new Gideon names Bishop, the time master of that wave rider.
He takes the oath and everything.
Yeah. Then we go back to the legends and like, oh, where are we? And Gary's all like, oh, we must be in this prehistoric time right now, and blah blah blah. And it's later on, I'm just like, yeah, way to drop the ball, Gary. It's just really just failed miserably. Do better.
Like that was so off.
Yeah, very, very, very much off. Because I would say 1986 is very much part of a historic era. It was quite the year, actually. Amazing year. It started off just okay, and then December happened, and then it's just like, oh my God, this is the greatest year in the history of years. I'm not going to, just point out what may or may not have happened in December of 1986. Just know it changed the world as we know it. But anyway, Sarah and Ava, they need to be separated because they just freaking out, and then they freaking out is freaking each other out, and the freaking out is getting even worse. And they's like, yo, we need to separate them. So they split them up.
Good way to be spending the beginning of your honeymoon phase time of your marriage.
I mean, they had all that time in the mansion though to get their freak on for a while, so
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. Also, we find out that it was if he hadn't figured it out already, that it was Bishop and his wave rider that destroyed the wave rider.
It made sense after I was just like, aha.
Yeah, once we get like the initial thing of it, like, oh, Bishop has a wave rider now. Okay. All this shit was Bishop. Oh, got it.
Especially when Gideon was telling him about like, you gotta still maintain the sanctity of the timeline. And he's just like, oh, okay. And when the legends were like, well, who would want to blow us up, but would also care about the timeline? So now it just all makes sense. It all comes full circle.
So yeah, let's see. So back on the island, not Constantine is still just too busy feeling sorry for himself to fix the time machine.
Gwen Davies.
Yeah, not Constantine. Let's see. We'll just go through all the Bishop stuff here. So there's they killed Hoover because he destroyed the wave rider. So he has to fix that. So he makes the Hoover robot. They have to reprogram a new Hoover bot because the first one died. He's going more and more off the rails, trying to take out the legends.
Just going through like such a development.
Yeah. Let's see. He starts to realize that he's actually the bad guy. New Gideon ends up locking Ava in the cargo bay and then ejecting her from the ship completely because she said she's a distraction. Let's see.
Which is very rude.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what that probably feels like?
Yeah. That's most likely just royally sucks. Let's see.
Could you imagine what it feels like?
No, I couldn't. I have no idea. Okay. Let's see. Apparently, Gideon's like, oh, I'm gonna make a Bishop bot to take your place while you are, being a time master. He'll follow the right path and all that kind of stuff.
He got so sensitive about that. He's like, I'm just so replaceable.
Yeah. It turns out that's when he realized that he was actually the bad guy, and they like used him to stop him.
It's like we were trying to protect you from this information, but you just had to know everything.
Right. And
brought it upon yourself.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the main stuff that happened on the ship with him. But going back, so we talked about Ava freaking out and all that.
They were making some like weird storyline with Gideon and Gary, or maybe not weird, but like
about
funnily
Gideon.
cute.
Yeah, Gideon giving Gary the goodies. Yeah, alliteration's fun. Say it with me.
No.
Gideon giving Gary goodies.
No.
Gideon gave Gary the goodies.
GGGTG.
Yes. But yeah, and then we find out though that they're not in a prehistoric time. They're in, very much a not prehistoric time. There's people there, they got guns and everything. So yeah. So they take Zari and not Constantine and they lock him in some room.
Gwen Davy.
Yeah. And Banner finds them. He gets all the materials they need to fix the time machine. They find out that they're in Chernobyl right before the meltdown. They're like, oh shit. And then not Constantine's like, oh, that's why I'm here. I need to save these people.
And they're just like, but bro, that's gonna summon the other wave rider.
Yeah, that's what they're concerned about. They're like, not the timeline, because fuck the timeline at this point.
They're just like, it's gonna change the timeline so bad enough that it's gonna summon this dude here, and we don't want that yet.
Yeah. But he does it anyway, and they let him.
Which is crazy, because now I'm kind of curious to know what that looks like in the future.
Yeah.
Because when I think about how egregiously horrible Chernobyl was handled, I stand behind what Mr. Davies did, despite what it will change.
I get it.
But now I'm curious to know what that kind of life looks like.
Yeah. Legit questions. Let's see.
Just a yikes moment.
Yeah. So then, Bishop is at that point, of course, alerted to where they are. Get there, he refuses to attack them. Ends up going to the one place that doesn't have any like site for Gideon.
A2, section A2.
Yeah, where the toilet is. Turns out the toilet has a little ejector seat in it, and he gets out, drops out. And he's dropping down at the same time. What?
I was gonna say he dripped something onto Gary's face
from the toilet.
Right. And even though Gary's not human, I'm kind of curious to know how that will affect him.
Yeah. So he's dropping at the same time that they activate the time machine. Time machine goes off. They leave with Bishop because he's above them. So somehow if something is above the time machine,
he was in the trajectory.
He still gets taken too. Yeah. So yeah, that was Legends though.
Nothing crazy, but they're going to continue to push this Bishop story stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like, you think they're trying to set up Gideon versus Gideon? I was reading something about that earlier.
Maybe there are two Gideons.
With this kind of almost, I don't want to say evil, but like very aggressive Gideon. And then we have our Gideon.
Yeah. The other, I wouldn't say she's really aggressive. She's just like 100% just like pure cold logic toward the timeline. And it's,
she's like, this is what makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Flash or Batwoman?
Let's go with Batwoman. Let's just leave the beginning of this crossover event.
Okay.
For the last.
So this episode of Batwoman is called what?
How does your garden grow? Slow and smoothly.
So yeah, this episode was all about Mary all of a sudden being extremely hot, and I don't know what that says about me as a person.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
The whole time I'm just like, say that again. Yeah, and it was But anyway,
horrible.
This episode kicks off with some folks balling in the park. And someone sees something leaking out of a shed, and this black woman, because I have to point that out because we don't do this. What were you doing?
Right. Because of course she runs up upon some dude who's been turned into like a human beehive.
Yeah. And it's just like, ma'am, we don't do this. We see something like this and we walk away and mind our goddamn business.
Get the ball and go back.
Yeah. I don't want to know. So Montoya ends up coming in to investigate. Comes to the conclusion that Poison Ivy is more than likely responsible. Back in the Batcave, Ryan.
Who else would know how to do that?
Yeah, back in the Batcave, we got Ryan and Sophie basically having a strong disagreement about Jada and what happened to Jordan, because Ryan was like, yeah, it might not really be her fault and blah, blah, blah. And
she might have started the project, but she didn't think or know that people were going to get hurt. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, do you hear yourself saying that very stereotypical get out of jail free line?
Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where like, it's one of those TV tropes where it's just like, if the people would just communicate, there would be no story. Mm-hmm. Like, it's real simple. My brother's fucking nuts and might kill us all. And so she was trying to do something about it and it went wrong. That's all she had to say. But no, she was like, I can't tell you. I'll tell you when it's time. And like, what?
It's like, lady, we don't got time like that.
Exactly. And yeah, Ryan, you couldn't distract me this week because you wasn't wearing that dress. So I was able to pay attention to what you were saying.
Hilariously dying.
So yeah, do better. Because I don't know if she did anything wrong last week or the week before. I don't think so. Everything she did last week and the week before was perfect. Nope, it was perfect. Nope. Perfect.
Excuse me.
Perfect. Now. Okay.
So
Mary's office is full of plants. That's what I was like. Where was I? Okay. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was like, I was trying to figure out where we left off at, but then I found where I was in my notes. And then as you were figuring it out, it was like whole clinic, plants.
Yeah. Her entire clinic is just full of plants now, which kind of also explains. Remember, we were like, how the fuck is she a damn botanist now? Last week.
Yeah, I was like, she was having fun facts about plants that you wouldn't just know from watching Jeopardy. Like,
yeah, it's not that. Yeah, it's because she's fucking Poison Ivy. That's how she knew all that shit. I was like, I knew I was right to question that. I'm like, the hell's going on here? Let's see.
And Alice is like, are you gonna, come clean about that?
And Mary clearly doesn't know. And she ends up telling the team about the whole Poison Ivy thing, though. It's just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's me. At the same time, we got Sophie going to see Montoya. I don't know what the point of this was because we ended up not going anywhere, but whatever.
Such a weird turn of events with this.
Yeah, they're asking questions about the black glove and blah blah blah.
So again, I was gonna say there's more deflecting. Like anybody who knows black ain't allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. Even though it turned out it was just a bunch of folks covering up for their sociopath kids. Like, okay, that's just less interesting than anything I thought of. So
just doing like test projects on their kids. Just like, okay, let's see if this works.
So they're tracing Mary's step and they find Black Glove dude buried up to his neck in the ground. So then they have this whole thing that they're trying to figure out, like, what triggers Mary into going into the Poison Ivy persona. And while they're doing that, Montoya shows up at Wayne Tower because why wouldn't she?
Because she feels like she can just go wherever the fuck she feels like.
Yeah. I'm like, how did you get past security at the front? Like, why did they let you in? Did they not say, like, if Montoya shows up, don't let her in? Like,
probably not.
Like, you come back with a warrant, all right? And then you can come up in here. Like, fuck you thought this was.
She never will.
Let's see. So apparently at some point, I don't know when it was, but at some point, Alice told Sophie where they were keeping Black Glove Dude. I don't know when this happened or how it happened, but apparently it happened.
I guess that happened off screen because I was trying to figure that out too. I was like, when did we see them together again?
Yeah, like at what point did she have a chance to talk to Sophie? I don't get it. But anyway, Sophie's down there interrogating him, burns him with a torch, like the face.
Yo, I was just like, Sophie didn't really at first when she was like acting all big and bad. And I was like, this ain't it, Sophie. And then she lit it on his face, and I was like, got it.
Exactly. I was wrong to underestimate you. Let's see. What else?
Poison Ivy gets triggered in sunlight thanks to Alice.
Yeah.
And Mary gets free after she clunks Luke to the ground.
Right. Before that, though, Batwoman interrupted Sophie when she was, interrogating this dude, and they start to arguing. And then during this argument, Sophie is calling her Ryan in front of this dude. They're just like, "What is wrong with you? Do better." Luckily, the dude hung himself with his chain anyway, so he couldn't tell me.
He died with her secret regardless.
Yeah.
Like, he probably heard her name and was just like, "Oh, I shouldn't know this. No. Oh, no, I shouldn't know this information. They gonna kill me anyway."
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, back to what you were saying. She's triggered by sunlight. She knocks Luke out. Apparently Alice has been helping her all along, like the Poison Ivy her all along. Okay.
All right. Super bad friends. Like,
yeah. And then let's see. Montoya. Yeah. So Poison Ivy Mary lures Montoya to the botanical gardens, like giant greenhouse, and
blows her to fucking kingdom come.
Yeah, just fucks her all the way up. Now there's Batwoman and Batwing. They show up. But
Mary kind of gives them both a spiel.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah. And then she gives them all a big I don't say meltdown, but a whole big spiel to both of them about how bad friends they've been to her.
Yeah. And it's true. They're awful friends. And she basically gives them both the finger and walks out. Now she's loose in Gotham, but not for long, because I guess she left Gotham with Alice in that smart car. But
yeah, they're just like, bye.
Electric car, not smart car. But then we go to the bar, and Sophie and Montoya have a drink, and then all of a sudden they bumping uglies, because
I was like, okay,
because you mad at Ryan, so you go fuck Montoya. Okay, cool.
Yeah. She's just like, I got to. It's the other lesbian of color on the show.
Basically.
She's the only one in town.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Batwoman. Anything else from there you want to make sure we touch on before we move on?
I don't think so.
Cool. Well, let's go to Central City.
In the flesh.
Yeah. So this episode was called what?
Armageddon Part 1.
So, this episode kicks off in the year 2031.
10 years from now.
Yeah. Where we have a dude who we later find out is Despero. Is just, it looks like he's destroying the city. Turns out he wasn't actually destroying it. It had already been destroyed by something else. And he's like, it was Flash.
He's now trying to save it.
Yeah. Then we go back to the present, though. And we got Barry and Caitlin. They're getting coffee.
They talk about how Frost is still hung up on that bar dude.
Yeah. On the icy bartender. And,
Chilblain.
Yeah, him. And yeah, all of a sudden there's an issue. There's trains that are going to collide with each other. I'm like, how the fuck they get on the same track going opposite directions? But okay. Barry goes and he saves everybody from the collision. Then we got Iris interviewing Kramer, even though I still say Kramer's the worst, but
And they disbanded the Meta Task Force.
Yeah.
Which we knew was coming because they knew that shit was hateful as hell.
Right. So that was over with. Then we got Iris talking to Allegra, and we get a whole shitload of exposition on what's been happening with the Citizen, because it's just Allegra's like, I can't believe you did this, and now we're doing this, and this, and this is this now, and this is what's happening now with this, and this is just, I'm like, nobody talks like this. Like, but you had to tell the audience what happened, I guess. So, okay.
Yeah, we had to know like how much, Citizen has leveled up.
Yeah. Like everybody leveled up, because they said that so many times this episode. It's just like, listen,
they should have just called the episode
Level Up.
Armageddon leveling up.
Yeah, because literally they say it for like
everyone.
Every character.
Yeah.
But then she also promotes Allegra, and Allegra's like, I can't do this job. What do you mean? And I was like, yeah, you can, and basically just leaves her hanging and walks away.
She's like, I'm too busy to further explain this to you. You got this.
Yeah. And we got Barry and Iris having dinner with pizza from a place in Italy. Now, here's my question here. With the Flash being able to move as fast as he does, right? That makes sense. He's able to go to Italy to get the pizza and come back. However, he's carrying this pizza in a box and he's moving that fast. How is the pizza perfectly okay when he gets back home with it?
I guess because it's moving so fast, it's also protected. I don't know. Like I feel like I would think about that. Like if the Flash is running through like a sleet storm, little ice particles wouldn't like scratch at his face and shit.
Yeah, they would. If his face runs into one.
I don't know. I didn't question it.
I am. And nobody can give me an answer because I guess there is no answer. It shouldn't be able to happen, but it happened. So, yeah. But anyway, they're eating this pizza that they shouldn't have been able to have. But at that point, there's a visitor. Ray is here.
Ray Palmer.
Yeah. He shows up and just kind of, invites himself in. He's like, yeah, you said I could stay anytime. So here I am. Yay. So what I do with this couch here, my roller, like, no, there's a guest bedroom. He's like, guest bedroom. Yay. I'll grab my bags later. Yay. He didn't even shrink his luggage or nothing. Just, you rude, bro.
Right. I would put that shit in my pocket.
Yeah. Then we get an appearance from the Royal Flush Gang. I got issues here too.
Talk to me.
So they call themselves the Royal Flush Gang, but they're not actually a Royal Flush.
Oh, yikes.
Because
for us non-poker playing people, what's a Royal Flush?
A royal flush is when you have 10 jack, queen, king, ace, all of the same suit in your hand. Now, I know from the comics and other things that ace is not always with them for different reasons, being like sometimes it's because it's like in different incarnations it's like this huge dude that's super strong and all that kind of shit, but in other incarnations it's this girl who has these incredible telekinesis powers and shit, and it's just like a lot of telepathic or telekinetic powers or whatever. She does some crazy shit, and it's crazy fucking dangerous, and a lot of times they don't keep her around. But a royal flush is supposed to be all the same suit, and each one of them is a different suit. Like one of them is the 10 of spades, and then like the queen of diamonds. I think it was the queen of diamonds. I don't think it was the queen of hearts. I think they did that on purpose. But king was definitely the king of clubs, and jack was the jack of hearts, I think. But they were all a different suit. I'm like, this is not a royal flush.
They were like, this was all we could think of.
I was annoyed.
I'm sorry.
There's little things like why did you think you were being clever?
Yes.
Like, we'll make each one of them a different suit. That'd be cool. Yeah. And now they're no longer a royal flush. They were always the same suit before. Every time I remember seeing them, it was an ace. They were all the royal suit and aces, like 10, jack, king, queen, aces. I even accepted if they decided to make them all a different suit, because it would have been like, just do something different. But like, if they were all diamonds or all clubs or all hearts, okay, cool.
Makes sense.
But you made each one of them a different suit. Like,
they had to express how different they were.
Like, that's a straight. That's not a flush. That's not a royal flush. Like,
we don't want to call them the straight gang.
Yeah, that's probably not a good one either. But yeah,
had to be a gambling term.
I mean, a straight is a gambling term.
I mean, like another gambling term.
Yeah, just having like the cards in sequential order is just a straight, but not even a royal straight. That's not even a thing. Just even if it is 10 jack, king, queen, ace straight, that's just an ace high straight. Now, would I call that a royal straight just because? Yeah. But that's not what it is. Anyway, next morning, Ray made some kind of green juice that nobody wants.
I feel like he's always making a juice that nobody wants.
Yeah.
Even when he was on Legends.
Oh, was that happening on Legends too?
I feel like I've seen him, like, I think when they did the 100th episode, and they did the flashbacks, and like you could see, well, not flashbacks, but like, they went back into the memories of Gideon. I feel like when they showed when Ray was on there, I feel like he was also making a juice that no one really wanted.
Yeah. And then Chester shows up and he's like, yo, I'm your official liaison for the whole con, because there's a tech con happening. Let's see. Then we go over to the Citizen, and Allegra's trying to tell the crew what to do, and they're like, yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want. And they all just did what they want.
They were like, bye, child.
Because who gonna check me? And that's their attitude. Also, turns out the Royal Flush Gang caused the train collision.
They took some power source.
Yeah. I still don't understand how that meant that the trains ended up on the same track heading toward each other. But okay.
I couldn't make it make sense either.
Okay. So then apparently the power went out in Iron Heights for like a few seconds, and a bunch of inmates got loose. So Barry had to go and put them all back.
Which he did really easily.
Because he leveled up.
Mm.
Then we got this moment with Chester being Ray's liaison. He had set up this whole meet and greet with some folks, and like, try to give him, tech meetings and all that. Turns out he don't even want to do that. He don't want to start no tech company and all that. And so Chester's feelings are hurt, feel like he fucking up.
You feel like he overstepped. And so he was just like, I'm out, bye.
Yeah. So then he just was gone for the most of the episode. Really didn't contribute shit, but you know. Let's see. So the Not My Royal Flush gang kidnapped somebody from the prison. Well, not really kidnapped, but they snatched this dude up they
took him.
Yeah. And yeah, because they were stealing something and he was a big part of it. Like, okay, well, we don't need you no more.
He's the one who can create, I think, the hack that they're going to do.
Right.
To steal the money from the casino. They're still robbing casinos and shit. They're just doing it a new, more high-tech way.
Because they leveled up.
Yes.
Let's see. So, but Flash ends up catching them and capturing them, and that was it. We got Barry and Ray there talking, and he's just like, yeah, telling him basically the same thing he told Chester. And they're gonna get into a conversation about it, but then they were interrupted at some point. But before that, Allegra ends up putting her foot down. Iris has her interview with Ray. And right afterwards, this is when Despero shows up.
Despero with the third eye.
Yeah. So he's there to kill the Flash.
Because apparently he destroys the world.
Yeah. And then it wouldn't be the first time we heard that the Flash was at the center of the world ending.
It's the first time someone's come back into the past to take care of it.
Yeah. Ray suits up with him because, you know, he's like, you need my help with this. But yeah, apparently Flash caused an Armageddon, so that's why Despero's back there. They make it basically, he tells him like, all right, you got 7 days, Barry,
to prove yourself that you are not of any ill will towards this planet.
Yeah.
Since you are destined to end it.
But yeah, it's funny because the way that Ray got rid of him, this is gonna go, you know, real deep nerd shit. But it's like in D&D, there's a spell called banishment. Basically, you send someone to another plane of existence, but it only lasts for like a short amount of time, and then they come back. So if you want to like get away from something that's way too powerful, you can cast that spell. Hopefully it succeeds and sends them to another plane of existence. Then you just get the fuck out of there before it comes back.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It can be very stressful. But it felt like, but this is what that felt like, if somebody cast banishment on him and then he came back. But anyway, so Ray decides he wants to maybe start a foundation for young scientists, you know, up and comers and shit.
And he names it after Chester's father.
Yeah, he's like, maybe I'll name it after your father. And then Chester gets all like, you know, like
very sad pup face.
Yeah. I mean, even though like you didn't do nothing to earn that, but cool. You just because you were useless all episode, but you know.
But you got heart.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. But yeah, that was the Flash. Anything else with this episode? Like I said, Flash got 7 days. But yeah.
Part one.
So Mara, who's winning this week?
I'm hesitant to say Mary.
Why you hesitating? I say Alice, but you know.
I want to say Chester's father since he's getting a foundation named after him. Alice, why?
I say Alice because she was just like hiding the fact that she was working with Poison Ivy that whole time, right under their nose. They didn't realize it, and now she got away.
True. But I mean, doesn't she still have the nanobots or something like that
Yeah.
in her that will have her location?
Yeah. I'm sure though Poison Ivy Mary has a way to put some kind of plant injection in her that'll kill the nanobots or something. I don't know.
Sure, that makes sense. I'm gonna go, yeah. I'll go with Alice. I'll go with Alice. I'll concur with you.
Why not Mary? You said Mary at first.
Concur.
Hmm?
Because at the same time, the reason why because I was hesitant to say Mary to begin with, because is Mary winning or is Poison Ivy using Mary's body winning?
I mean, it's still Mary. It's not it's just she's infected with the poison ivy like stuff. She's still Mary, which is why she still had all those feelings of being angry and shit about like the way she was being used and all that. So it's not like she's being mind controlled. It's just, you know, she just has the poison ivy shit in her.
Well, I mean, I always like a queen who can get her feelings off her chest. So I guess I will stay with Mary.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's the episode where Mary became extremely hot. And yeah. But yeah. Who's losing?
The honey guy, hands down.
Man, don't even have a name. He's just the honey guy. I was gonna say black glove dude that hung
I know.
himself.
Well, he had a name. I don't. His is the only. Oh, Virgil. Yeah, Virgil's having a pretty bad week.
He got his face burnt, and then he, hung himself with his own chain to keep from like having to be interrogated more. And yeah.
That takes a lot.
It does. I ain't got whatever that is.
Nope.
But yeah. That's what I'm going. When you say B dude, I say black glove dude. That's what we gonna go with.
Yeah. Honey Man had a name. His is the only name I didn't catch this week.
Right. All right. Well, folks, that'll be it for this week's episode of Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow. Do not forget you can find us on both Twitter and Instagram at The Creation World. That is at TheCreatia World. Also on Facebook at facebook.com/Creation World. Also, if you are a wrestling fan, don't forget to check out Smacking the Raw every week. There's also a Facebook group that goes along with that. Facebook.com/group/Smacking the Raw. This particular podcast, though, also has its own Facebook group. Mara, what is that Facebook group?
Facebook.com/group/Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow.
Also, I mentioned Dungeons and Dragons earlier. We just started our Dungeons and Dragons campaign recently. Check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on, podcast services everywhere. Dungeons After Dark. It's fun. We had a great time.
It was.
Yeah, it's, a different kind of campaign. They're all playing villains. So we're the #1 D&D villain campaign on Pornhub. #1. Let me think. Anything else? Nah, just subscribe to the YouTube, but that's about it.
Please subscribe to the YouTube.
Yeah, I think that'll be it. Is it? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Sir_Cussalott. That is at SIR_CUSSALOTT. Mara, where can they find you? I knew I was forgetting.
Also on Twitter at Mara the Shark. That's MARADASHARK.
All right. There. We're done. Catch y'all next week. Until then, we out.
Bye.